When it comes to education reform in Nigeria, that is a lot to unpack. Let's start with the basic. Our exam system is bloated. WAEC, NECO, GCE. 3 different names for the same ritual of cramming, regurgitating, and forgetting. Scrap NECO and GCE as they exist. Replace them with one unified national exam that sets standard across the board. But exams alone won't fix the rot. Our education system is allergic to practicality. We are churning out engineering graduates who can't build a gate, law graduates who can't argue a case, and agricultural graduates who wouldn't even recognize a hoe if it hits them. If I were president, I would ban theory-only curriculums. Every degree must have a hands-on component. You can't call yourself a graduate if you can't do things you studied. From primary school, I would introduce a civic plus design thinking curriculum, training kids in governance, problem solving, and entrepreneurship. We don't just need students who pass exams. We need students who can imagine solutions, design systems, and actually execute. That is the only way to break the cycle of recycling failures. And let me get personal for a moment. If there's one thing that sums up my education experience in Nigeria, it is lack of accommodation. I studied at the University of Lagos, a federal institution in the heart of a mega city. Yet, there were never enough hostels. We had tiny rooms built for 8 students, but 30 will end up cramming inside. Picture it: noise, bedbug infestation, filthy toilets, zero privacy. The environment wasn't suited for training a dog, let alone human beings. Yet we endured. There is even a saying, if you can survive in UNILAG hostel, you can survive anywhere in Nigeria. Sad but true. That is where our so-called resilience comes from, surviving in dysfunction. But survival isn't the same as striving. Education should sharpen the mind, not traumatize them. And then there's NYSC. The sacred cow. I would say it plainly. NYSC needs to be scrapped or completely reformed. My own service here exposed the scam. I was first deployed to Kano for camp training, but later deployed to Lagos for a job I already had. That is when I discovered the dirty secret. Some people don't even serve. They are posted to companies owned by their parents or relatives, barely show up, and still collect government allowance. Meanwhile, others risk their life in states they have never been to, with no real contribution to nation building.
Look, I want you to see my face in every episode, but I'm not going green screen in low resolution. If you like smart city story and have interest in film and urban development and want to help me make better videos, please subscribe, like, and share to folks that will be interested in this movement. If you have got a buck to spare, support me on Patreon or PayPal. Every bit gets me closer to showing up on camera the way this stuff deserve. The current goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers. Help me get there. You click, I film. Honest trade. Click the subscribe button now. Like, seriously. Now let's continue.
If I were president, NYSC would either become full military service or end altogether. We talked about border security in earlier episode. This is where graduates can actually contribute. Assign them to border outposts, military bases, or civic reconstruction projects based on their skills and education. Imagine computer graduates building secure database for border control. Agricultural graduates improving food production in the hinterlands, or medics staffing rural clinics. That will be nation building. What we have now is just a glorified gap year with khaki. Education reform isn't just policy for me, it is personal. I lived the dysfunction, the overcrowding, the bad infrastructure, the sham of NYSC, but I also know the power of Nigerian brains when given the right environment. If we transform how we teach, where we teach, and why we teach, Nigeria won't just produce survivors, we will produce innovators across board.
This series isn't about doom and gloom. This is about solution. If I were president, what blueprint could we use to rebuild Nigeria? That is what the next 19 episode explores. From agriculture and energy to urban planning, justice, education, media, and foreign policy, we will be laying out how to rewire the nation piece by piece and make it not just survive but thrive. This is just the beginning, so if you want to see how Nigeria can change, not in theory but in practical and structured way, then you are in the right place. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notification. So best believe this is going to be a journey worth following.